This is Heartrepreneur Radio, maximizing your personal and business results by leading with your heart. With your host, Terry Levine. Listen every week as Terry tackles the topics that will help you become a successful heart-centered entrepreneur. Be sure to read the blog posts at www.heartrepreneur.com/blog. Come back often and add this show to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe in iTunes. You can also follow Terry on Twitter at MentorTerry and on Facebook.com/Heartrepreneur Terry Levine. And now here's Terry.
Good morning and welcome back to Heartrepreneur Radio, Heartrepreneur TV. Good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be listening or watching. Really happy to have you and really happy that you are discovering Heartrepreneur and what is the Heartrepreneur movement and the Heartrepreneur cause. And basically, in a nutshell, it's a group of people who said, we're going to disrupt the way business is done. No more transactional approach. We're really going to come from our heart. We're going to help people. We're going to serve people, and we're truly going to make a difference with our products and our services. So today, we're going to help you make more of a difference with your products and your services and really do something that is completely heartfelt. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever used a product that absolutely exceeded your expectations, right? Or you've been so thrilled with the job that maybe a plumber did, an electrician did, or maybe your cleaning service performed. You're just like, oh, this is wonderful. How about an attorney who helped you avoid a big legal problem? Or maybe a customer service person who really resolved something very frustrating for you, maybe a billing issue, and you're like, wow, that really worked well. Well, so many people today tend to focus on what goes wrong, right? And imagine just for a moment, turning that around and coming from a place of genuine appreciation for a product or for a service done right and a job done well. Well, my guest today, author Lynette Smith, she is going to show you how to change your world, my world, with a very heartfelt letter of appreciation. And I have to tell you, I'm happy to hear this because everything that I hear is complaints, complaints, complaints. Lynette, welcome here. I'm so glad you're with me today.
It's so exciting to be here. Thank you, Terry. Great to be here.
Well, first of all, I have to say, I look on social media all the time, right? And everyone is complaining. This company did this and this and that. And I don't really see people out there talking about anything that is going well or going right. So I'm just curious from your standpoint, why is that?
They're frustrated. They get frustrated the way things are. And sometimes, the media is out there, of course, and they're not always talking about good news. They kind of drag you down after a while, and that's where your head goes, getting dragged right down there. It's frustrating to see what it ends up looking distorted, like everything is bad all around, but it isn't. It isn't. And if we can just remember there are good things in this world too, and good people and good products and good services, and what you focus on expands. Everybody's heard that. And let's focus on the positive. What's going right? Let's acknowledge what's going right. That's what that's all about.
And that's why it resonates so much. Like the first question I always teach my clients, and they've heard this so much, they're probably sick of it, is what is working? What is going right? People want to get and tell me of their frustration and their challenges. Like, no. What's working? What's going well? So I'm curious, how did you come up with even the concept of these heartfelt letters of appreciation? Where did that come from for you?
It came from my wonderful son back in 2008. At his wedding rehearsal dinner, he and his bride-to-be each presented their respective parents with a heartfelt letter of appreciation. And yes, indeed. And even today, and they had their best man and maid of honor read those letters aloud while they stood by their parents. And each letter talked about what it was like growing up in the family, what qualities they especially appreciated about each of their parents.
If you have any challenges in your business and you want some business advice and help, we're here to do a customized blueprint to help you overcome your biggest business challenge. Send an email right now to Terry, Terri, at Terry Levine, Levine, and we will tell you how to get your customized business blueprint. We are truly here to help you.
And then it talked about the values they had learned that they planned to bring to their marriage. And wow, what a gift, what a gift. And I'm going to tell you that that letter holds a place of honor in our home today. And every time I read it, it means just as much as it did the first time. And every time I read it, every time I think about it, my eyes well up.
I'm tearing up.
Yeah. And my hand goes to my heart and I'm going, oh, and it's just so cool, the lasting power of some acknowledgement that you've made a difference in someone else's life.
It is so beautiful. That is so touching, and what a wonderful tribute that is. As you're saying that, to the left of me in my office is a note card that I got from one of my clients. It has to be 4 years ago. And I've got many notes, which I love and I appreciate. However, there's something about the specifics of what she listed in what I had done for her, and not just income-wise. It was very specific.
Sure.
I keep this literally right here by my desk. I look at it regularly. Sometimes I just look at the outside and I just feel like the world is so perfect. And I think that something is really missing. And I think people don't write letters anymore. It's like, oh yeah, it's your birthday, text you, I'll post on Facebook or whatever. I wanted to share something with you. A friend of mine bought me absolutely gorgeous note cards. She knows everything with hearts is what I love. So she bought me note cards with hearts on them. And when she handed them to me, she said, this was maybe 2 months ago, she said, oh, I'm sure you don't write handwritten notes. Nobody does. I just thought you'd like the cards. And I said, I'm kind of one of these old-fashioned people. I write a lot of cards. I write a lot of notes and send a lot of letters. She went, you do? I'm like, yes. So what is going on in the world where most people won't take a few minutes to write something out and put a stamp on it? Like, what is that? And how do we ship that? That's what I really want to know, Lynette.
Well, one of the things that's going on, of course, is we're relying more and more on electronics. You've got electronic banking. You don't get mail anymore. You get junk. And right? The only mail you get is bills, maybe, if they're not sent to you online.
True.
And so you're not used to being in the space of expecting a letter from somebody that says something nice. I mean, when I was a little girl, I used to exchange letters with my Aunt Tommy. She was on a farm in Texas. And dear Aunt Tommy, da-da-da-da-da-da, and I would write to her, and she would write me letters back, and we had this thing going. And it was really cool, and it was part of what we were doing then, because there were no electronics except the dial telephone. And wow. So we get out of this habit of even thinking, and then here comes technology helping us, first with email, and then with websites, and then with texting. And we start to think that's the only way to communicate. Isn't it funny that people will walk up to your front door and they'll either text you that they're about to ring the doorbell, or they won't ring the doorbell, or they have to schedule an appointment to make a phone call. All of these things are so different today from what they used to be. They used to be so spontaneous, and yet you can sit and write a letter, and it's right there in the moment. You're fully engaged. You're not distracted. You're just focused on the message. And I'd like to say one other thing. All this technology has taken us out of the space of putting something down on a piece of paper. And yet we tend to forget that people have sent letters, letters during World War II. How many of us or our parents have found things in the attic, a little bundle of letters. So this is all from a personal letter standpoint, but I think the same concept can apply in the world of business. Why the heck not? Really, let's acknowledge what's right in the world. I mean, people talk about journaling and gratitude journals and name 5 things you're grateful for today and all of that, but they never, that's fine, it's in a journal, but it didn't get to tell the people, the real people who did right by you, that they're special and the job they did was special. Why not? Just do it.
Do it.
To a famous manufacturer. Just do it.
It's really great advice. I was thinking of several things as you were talking. First, I was thinking I have every letter that my husband wrote to me when we weren't yet married. And I was in college in New York and he was in college in Pittsburgh. And he literally wrote me a letter every single day for the year and a half that we were apart until I transferred to Pittsburgh. Every single day. He never missed a day. I have that box with every single letter. And it's not just, we've been married for well over 41 years. And it's not just, oh, it's a box. No, I go in there on occasion. And I also found when my mom passed, I found every letter of correspondence that she had had with her brother who had died in the war. And every single letter between them up until the one that came 2 weeks after he died when it showed up at the house. And I have her letters and I've reread those letters. So that showed up for me. And then the third thing that showed up for me is, you know, it only takes a moment. It really does. If you keep some note cards on your desk or something like that and just keep a pen handy, it's so easy. And I remember I did this years ago, haven't done it again, and you're sparking me to do it again. I had for 30 days, I had a habit of writing 5 appreciation cards a day. Whether it was to Comcast for solving a problem, whether it was to somebody that I hired that solved a problem, whether it was to a client for just being amazing, a friend, a family member. And I got out of that habit. And I think that's such a good pattern. So what advice do you have for someone who's going, I want to show more heartfelt appreciation? What's the first step?
Be receptive to opportunities to do it. Be aware of what's going on around you. Don't be in such a busy all the time that you can't stop and go, well, this went right. This really went smoothly. And John David helped me out with this problem that I was really stuck on. And he stepped right in and he took control and said, let's do this, let's do that. And we got the job done together. And I said, thank you. But you know what? In a year, he's going to forget I said thank you. If I write to him in a text, it's just conversation. It's gone. It's gone. As soon as it's done, it's gone, and probably gone from his memory to a great degree. If I send him an email, that's fine as far as it goes. It's not pretty, but you can make it as heartfelt as you want to. But you know how inboxes are? Here's
Yes.
other things. Just keep going there. And even if you put it somewhere else, that's fine. If you remember you put it there.
That's a problem.
Yeah. And then what happens if your computer crashes and you didn't have the perfect backup software? Yeah, that's a problem. And whereas if you can put something in writing, like my son did with that wonderful letter, and it's still there, and every time I read it, it feels good.
Is your business struggling? You want more leads, you want to convert leads more easily, you want more revenues, more profits. Whatever your biggest business challenge is, we're here to help you. We have a proprietary proven process that's guaranteed here at Heartrepreneur to help you increase your revenues and profits. And we have the ability to help you overcome your biggest business challenge. Simply send us an email to Terry, Terri, at terrylevine, Levine.com, and we will show you how we can help you overcome your biggest business problem by doing a customized blueprint just for you. Whatever your problem or challenge is, stop struggling, stop the frustration. Let us help you so that you can have more money, more freedom, and more free time in your business. Do it now. Send the email now.
And it's worth saving, just like all those examples you cited of the things you've got that you've saved. They're very, very special, and they're a piece of history too. And a business can have history.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't just have to be an individual's history. A business can have history of testimonials and feel-good letters and things like that. And wouldn't it be lovely if somebody would send them one when they did do it right? And they try very hard every day to do it right. And nobody says anything. They just pay the bill. Really, just that little extra step. Stop in the moment and do it.
I love that advice. Stop in the moment and do it. I think that's brilliant. I'll share one other thing that comes up for me. My nephew had moved in with us, and he lived here for 4 years. And when he moved in, he was having a very difficult time. And my husband just took him under his wing. We mentored him. We really took good care of him. And his wedding was last year, and we contributed and helped out with his wedding. And, the thank you card came, and I just expected the normal routine thank you card. Well, my husband was at work, and I opened this letter, and this told this whole story of when he moved in, how he didn't think he could ever hold a job. He didn't think he'd ever meet a woman. He was so confused. His life was a mess. And in the 4 years that he lived here, he grew into this young man that has a successful business of his own. He met the ideal woman, and it was all like appreciation for what the two of us had done. I read the letter, I still remember. It was at my kitchen table. I was sobbing my eyes out. Okay, I was sobbing my eyes out. And I called him up that night, and before my husband had even seen the letter, his name is Charles. And I said, Charles, I don't think you will ever understand what that letter actually means. And he said, I didn't know another way of sharing the appreciation. I said, there couldn't have been a better way. And I kept it. I watched my husband, Lynette. He came home, Mr. Macho. He read the letter, and I saw the tears in the corner of his eyes. And he said, where are you going to put the letter? Like, he knew we're saving this. And the last thing that I wanted to share is I was so impressed. I think you'll get a kick out of this. I did a TEDx talk about, maybe 2 years ago now. There was a very young gal on the stage. She was maybe 16 years old. And she was very nervous and just a lot of difficulty with her TEDx talk, but none of that mattered. What mattered was her message. Her message was that she had written a letter as a young girl to her grandmother. And that meant the world to her grandmother. Her grandmother had recently passed, and it had changed everything in their relationship. And so now her entire message was about letter writing. And I remember sitting there thinking, this is a young gal, and here she is it doesn't matter that she couldn't get a great TEDx talk out. Her message was the greatest TEDx talk I've ever heard. A young person impacting people. So I just wanted to share those two experiences with you, with our viewers, with our listeners. And I'm curious, so who do you work with? Who's like a person that would be a good client for you? And then how do people reach out to you? You, by the way, you just have such the moment you and I got on and just started to chat, you just have such a beautiful, heartfelt way about you. I know our Heartrepreneur folks are going to dig you.
Thank you. Well, actually, my company name is All My Best Copy Editing and Heartfelt Publishing. So the books that I do are heartfelt because I want to touch people's hearts, and I want people to touch one another's hearts. And I've already forgotten what you asked me.
It's fine. What you just said was beautiful. So tell people, I guess let's start here. tell us who you work with, then we'll talk about how do people get in touch with you and get your books.
All right. Well, I do have 2 websites, and one of them is allmybest.com, and that focuses on copy editing and proofreading for authors' books and manuscripts. And I have a website that is fully developed in terms of answering the questions you might want to know if you're that author or that publisher. And I'm here ready to help. And I do come from a place of wanting to help. And I think people see that because I truly want them to have the best book they can have. So that has to do with the copy editing and the proofreading. The other website is goodwaystowrite.com. And that's the one that focuses on writing the letters. That's the one that focuses on my life purpose rather than my career, which is to get people to write those heartfelt letters, personally or professionally. And because I've found that it will enhance or establish or even rebuild a relationship, putting that in writing and getting it into somebody's hands. And so that website is the one where you can get the book or learn more about the book. But the book is How to Write Heartfelt Letters to Treasure for Special Occasions and Occasions Made Special. It's available at all major online retailers as well as through my website. And that's the one focused on the letter writing. I'll just mention briefly, back in 2015, I got this wild idea. I'd write this other book from the left brain that talked about, it has the world's most boring title. I love this. 80 common layout errors to flag when proofreading book interiors. It does the job. But anyway, that's the one that's kind of going off the topic of writing the letters. But that one also is available on that website, or information about it is available through that website. Beautiful. And that's kind of my 2 halves.
Love it. So I would just say, not only do authors need to have editing. I just was talking to a client, it's just synchronistic this morning, and he had written this special report that I asked him to write. It's like 4 pages. And I went through it and I said, the outline is great. Like, I get where you're going. It really needs a good editor. And he said, it's a 4-page report. I said, yes, and it's what people are downloading that totally represents you. So I told him, I said, I don't put anything out there. I never have in 26 years now without having an editor take a look at it, because I'm not an editor. And I really want you to get an editor to edit this. He was surprised. He's very open, and he came back and said, well, I need someone who actually, can get me and understand me. And I said, great. And that's what a good editor will do. They'll take your essence. So I'm going to make that introduction. The other thing is I have to get a copy of your book, because I really am a big fan of heartfelt letters. And I really want to say to everyone who's listening, if you ever identified with the word Heartrepreneur, and let's face it, you wouldn't be watching the show or listening to the show if you didn't. There's no better gift than you can give someone, in my experience, than a heartfelt letter. I tell my client family members all the time, I appreciate gifts that they've sent. They've sent all kinds of amazing gifts. And my husband's like, you have a lot of secret admirers. I'm like, no, they're not secret. I appreciate everyone. However, what is the ones that touch my heart and soul are the ones that are letters that I can keep. They are literally memories that I can look at and pick up. And you know what? If you wake up in the morning and you're having a not so great day, or whatever the experience is, go and read some letters that people wrote you from appreciation and gratitude. And for me, it just reminds me, of every purpose. Last thing I want to share. I had a huge problem, and I'll mention the company, with AT&T a couple of years ago, just a huge problem in their store. There was like one error after the next. It would have been funny, except it was real, right? And I was there for 4.5 hours. And I had to go through a lot of rigmarole. However, when they fixed the problem, They went above and beyond any expectation I would have ever had. I mean, so far above. And I said to the gentleman that I was speaking with, I appreciate that I have your name. I appreciate I have your phone number, your email. Is there an address that I can write to? And he said, writing another complaint. I said, oh, no. I want to actually write about this amazing experience that I had with you. I'm happy to put it on social media and on my blog. I actually want this letter to go. He said, please, nobody writes. So I wrote a letter to him, and I had asked for a supervisor. It went to both places.
Good. Perfect.
Was that good? I got a letter back from his supervisor. He had been in the business for 20-something years. It was the first positive letter he had ever received. I had to share it with you.
Yeah, and people try so hard to do a good job, and they just don't get that acknowledgement. Put it in writing and shock the heck out of them.
I love it.
If they're an employee, send it to their supervisor. Maybe send another one to human resources for the file, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so make sure it gets into the hands of the people that matter. And also people providing a service or product. Sometimes they're doing this as a charitable effort. So they're making a difference in the lives of the community or the world, not necessarily to you personally, but you see this and you want to acknowledge it. And again, just write it down. And may I say briefly too, it doesn't have to be handwritten.
Mm-hmm.
It can be. I mean, thank you notes are lovely when they're handwritten, of course. But you can also even, my secret, I compose on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if it's to be handwritten, I'll handwrite it. But if it's to be a business letter, as so often is the case with a product or a service, go ahead. Whatever way seems most natural to you. And if you're feeling insecure about writing a business letter, you can Google what the format is. It's not hard. The answers are out there. They are out there.
They are.
So just do that.
I love it. Just as we're chatting, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. I'm thinking about people I want to write letters to, people on my team, some of my clients, people who have come and have helped me over the last few months, actually in my home with some personal items. In addition, a doctor that did this amazing, over-the-top telecommuting session with me. That was just amazing. Mm-hmm. And then also a couple of my vendors. Yes, I pay them and I expect good work. However, the work that they do is even beyond my expectations, and I want to let them know how thrilled I am. So what's a takeaway, an action that you can give our viewers and our listeners so that they actually get a heartfelt letter of appreciation out there?
Remember who you work with, who you work for, who works for you, and pay attention to the job they're doing and start looking for the good. Look for the good. And remember, like you said, they don't always get things in writing, and neither do their supervisors about them. And it's time to turn that around and fill files with good things, not complaints. Because you know what? When someone feels acknowledged for the effort they made, they keep making that effort and then some. They want to keep doing the right thing for others. And here we go again, changing the world.
One letter at a time. This is beautiful.
One letter at a time. One heartfelt letter at a time.
Oh, yeah. I resonate with you so much. And I am so glad that you've been here and we've had this opportunity. Please remind people of both of the websites one more time, Lynette.
All right. For book authors and publishers and publishing coaches who want copy editing and proofreading done, that is allmybest.com. For people who want to know more about writing heartfelt letters, business or personal, that is goodways2write.com. And that's where there's more information about my books as well.
You have been just one of my most fantastic, fabulous guests. I have enjoyed this every minute. And I am actually on my first break of the day. I am committing to writing 5 cards today, and I'm excited and thrilled to do it. So thank you. You truly are a gift. I appreciate you so much.
And you yourself are a gift. Thank you, Terry. It's been great.
And for the listeners, for the viewers, you are a gift also. You have magic to give in the world through your products, through your services, through who you are. You make a difference. We see you. You're brilliant, shining diamonds. You look absolutely perfect. So get out there, get your message out there. Not only go be grateful, focus on what is good, what is working, go be thankful, go help. Go be of more service in the world. The world needs you and your products and your services. Thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you here next time at Heartrepreneur Radio and TV.
You've been listening to Heartrepreneur Radio, maximizing your personal and business results by leading with your heart with your host, Terry Levine. This show is produced every week for your enjoyment and education. To make sure you never miss a single show, add us to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe in iTunes. You can also read Terry's latest blog posts at www.heartrepreneur.com/blog or follow Terry on Twitter at MentorTerry and on Facebook.com/Heartrepreneur Terry Levine. Your questions and comments are always welcome and appreciated. Send them to Terry on either Facebook or Twitter. Thank you for listening.